Hey guys, so I want to do like a fun and different kind of challenge today. I'm going to be putting my makeup on just using my phone camera. No mirror, just my phone. And I kind of got this inspiration to do like this funny challenge from a time where I was in DC. I was acting, and the place where we had to get ready at before we went out for the day and before we got to the theater at the end of the night had no mirror, and it's summertime, and so I was like, I'm definitely gonna put at least a little bit of makeup on, some foundation, you know, protect my skin. And so I was like thinking about how I could get ready, and thankfully I had my phone, and I just literally used my phone's camera the whole time to put my makeup on. So it didn't turn out too bad, and this should be interesting today because I have like this little it's not a selfie stick, but it's like a camera mounter, and like you can make it really tall, like you can adjust it and it'll hold the camera for you, and it is broke. I tried to fix it, but it will take a lot longer than time I have today to do this video. So this should be fun, this should be interesting, and I'm just gonna do something really natural, simple look today, and we're gonna see how this goes. So this should be fun. At least I have plenty of natural lighting in my room, that is for sure, because I have two giant windows. So I'm gonna put this mane of mine back in a clip, and we're gonna get started. So the first thing I like to do is dampen my beauty blender. I really need to get a new one. This one is from Equal Tools. I got like their giant holiday collection set that was like for the $49. I honestly got it when it was half off during like the Cyber Monday sale, and I literally only paid 20 something because I also saved up a bunch of points from Ulta, and I got this amazing brush set. I'm actually going to talk about it and how Equal Tools has really changed like their brand, how good the quality is of the brushes. Since when I bought it, I never talked about it, but it's something I definitely want to suggest for brushes. They are not that expensive, like they're pretty affordable, and they are great quality, because I got a brush literally from 10 years ago. The company is only 10 years old, and I finally needed to update it the year that they like released their 10-year celebration stuff, and it was my first stipple brush to use to put on my foundation back in middle school, high school, when I did not know what I was doing with makeup, but it's fine. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this dampened up, and then I'm going to apply my primer. Hey Houston, we're live. I found a way to kind of jury rig like my little thing to hold my phone, so we're just gonna make this work as best as possible, and I'm gonna pray that in the middle of the video it doesn't fall down or fall apart. So anyhow, to dampen my beauty blender, I always take the Mario Basquiat skincare, like the aloe water, because it's a slightly setting spray. Also, it's more gentle than like the water from the sink, because like, you know, it's not filtered, and it's good for my skin because it's mixing in with my foundation and adding a little bit of, like, you know, I guess extra care to it. So for my primer, I use the Professional by Benefit. This is amazing because I have huge pores, and it also helps like really cover up breakouts. Like I'm healing from a giant pimple there. It is finally starting to go away. That thing was a monster. I mainly put this in like my T-zone area, like where I have a lot of troubles. And this is going to sound crazy. I mix it in with my foundation when I apply it, because to me, I feel like it allows it to last longer. It applies with a more flawless finish. It will make my dewy foundations more mattifying. It'll give it more of a mattish look, because with my powder, and if I end my look with the Mario Basquiat setting spray, it will make it more of a like dewy look. I like matte looks more than anything, and because it's usually by the end of the day I'm really oily in my T-zone area, like most people, and so by the end of the day the oil shows up, and so they'll be like, wow, My skin went crazy with the dry winter air. We are going to get a little up close and personal. I don't know how much you're going to like that, so I apologize. Please think I'm pretty. Anyhow, moving on. So for my foundation, going to be using, where is it? Bear with. Foundation, I'm using the Fenty foundation. I'm shade 190 to 200. The lady wasn't sure which one would be better because when she did like my color IQ, she said it was a little bit in between, and it really is. The 200's a little darker, which I feel would be better for like my like summer shade. This does oxidize a little bit and just get a little darker. Like once you set it on, it's really light and it gets like slightly darker. But by the time that it's mixed in with my concealer, and I put my powder on top, it really gives me a even perfect coverage, because my face and neck are usually a lot lighter than my arms are. Right now it's winter, so as I like to tell people, I am about half native, and I said the white side of me comes out in the winter, because I'm going to take a little bit of this concealer. It's from Ulta. Their color correcting concealer actually is really good. I like it a lot personally, because if I blend it with another concealer, it works really well. So I'm using the Naked Skin Urban Decay concealer, and this is in shade Light Natural. And I just put a little dab there in the end of this other beauty blender. It's a lot more thick and concentrated, and just kind of blend that out. There, it'll have a little bit of like a minty green tone, but by the time that I put my foundation on, it'll blend in pretty perfectly. So I found out what works best for the Fenty foundation is I start off with a stipple brush, and then once I blend it out as far as I can with the stipple brush, I then take a beauty blender and I really pat it and blend it in. I know that kind of seems double-sided, but with the beauty blender, it soaks up a lot, and I feel like I don't get as much coverage as I'd like. I like medium to full coverage. During the summer, I like more sheer coverage because I'm outside so much, and so the makeup kind of just fades away throughout the day. And also, this is going to be like an oxymoron for most people. My skin is the best during the summer. During the winter is when my skin loves to break out. So here we go. I always like to start here and go to the jawline. And then I just go in with that beauty blender and I really blend it in. But this foundation is magical. I've never had a shade match me so well before, and I mean this with full honesty, because it's just, it amazed me. Like when I put it on, I was so shocked. And my mom even noticed. She said, "What foundation are you wearing? Because I've never seen one match you so well." Because either they are like slightly too pale or they're slightly too dark. Because I am of a medium skin tone, but I have a neutral undertone, or I have a peachy undertone to me. Since, you know, I'm mixed with native, I am dark, but I don't get like that super dark that most foundations have in medium. It's like it's too much. And then if I whiten it out with powder, it's just too white and it looks really weird. And this is the best that I've ever had. Like, look, you can't even barely see that blemish anymore. This foundation, it amazes me. I absolutely love it. And you can do a really light coverage It's really difficult. Like I have to use only a beauty blender when I really want that light coverage. I always blend down into my neck. But it's just, I don't know. It's magic, and I love Rihanna for doing it and making sure that there was a warm undertone and a neutral undertone and a cool undertone, because that's where I would get most of my issues with my foundations, were not having the correct undertone to really, you know, work for my skin. It's fantastic, because I haven't even gotten to blending on my forehead, and you can barely like tell the difference in the foundation color with where I've been. It really is like second skin, and I absolutely love that. It's just with my stipple brush. The stipple brush by EcoTools is good. They are synthetic brushes. They're cruelty free, and I believe they're also vegan. They use bamboo for their handles, and they are very, literally, as it says, like EcoTools, eco-friendly. And that's what I've always loved about them, because they were the first to really like make that step, because with makeup you throw so much away, and so you have to take that into account with like waste and everything that is, you know, not just good for the earth. And so their paper is also made out of that material. They try to be as eco-friendly as possible. They used recycled products, and everything that they stand for I absolutely love. It would be a dream ever if I were to be sponsored by anybody. Sponsored by EcoTools. They actually even come with like their own shampoo, like brush cleaner, which is amazing. And if you clean and keep up with your brushes, they really will last a long time. The stippling brush is fantastic. I've used it with multiple foundations, and it does a really good job of getting that like dotted, aired brush coverage. I just like going in with my beauty blender with it being soaked in setting powder, just to really get it into my skin, and so that way it really lasts longer and all day. So now we're gonna get to concealing. I've been using this as more for like my natural days, because it really does match my foundation perfectly, but just to brighten my eyes a little bit, because I do have baggy eyes, as you can see. I use the Physicians Formula #InstantReady concealer, and it does work really, really well. It is very cakey though, I will warn you. You kind of have to be careful a little bit with it, because if you don't set it right away, I have noticed that it does give me some major lines under my eyes. I always have an issue with the lines in my eyes coming out with my makeup. I always have. I've tried everything and anything, and I haven't had any luck. I don't know what it is. It's something I've always struggled with. So if anybody knows any tips that I may not have tried, please let me know. This is the EcoTools Stippling Concealer Brush. I love it, especially when you're trying to like really pack it on. I've used it also to cover blemishes up, but it's fantastic. We're gonna get up close and personal here really quick. Oh no, it's going out of focus. Okay, dokie, that's nicely blended in. And like I said, I'm gonna set it really quick. I'm using this controlled setting brush by EcoTools. I've used it for highlighting and for major setting. I'm just using a standard setting powder. It's from NYX, but it fell, so it's powdery. It used to be the compact kind. But like I said, mine fell. And so it's like powdery everywhere, but it's fine. I take this airbrush finishing just to like brush away any of like the setting powder that I've done, so that way it's not too cakey when I'm doing a natural look. And also when I go under my eyes, I use a little bit of this just so that way it's not too bright under my eyes and I don't look, you know, dead, or like too bright under there, because and that's really awkward. Gonna automatically set that right away, and then I go in with this EcoTools micro blending brush, and I really get under my eye there, and I really pat in the setting powder. And I never go all the way up right under my eye with concealer because I've noticed that's made it the most cakey. If I blend up with the Beauty Blender with it, it works a lot better with it not being so cakey under my eyes because I have like these little just tiny lines. They've always been there. It's just genetics. You know, I can't help it that I have like these little creases under my eyes. Alright, next, bronzing. I absolutely love this butter bronzer by Physicians Formula. It smells like coconut, and if you don't like coconut, I highly warn you about this because your face smells like coconut. And so I'm using the EcoTools defining brush. I found this to be an excellent bronzing brush. Oh, I also use it for the contour because even though I do have high cheekbones, I just love to make them stand out. I put on my bronzing powder before I do like my final natural setting powder, which is the banana powder from Ulta, because I did it before it and it was just a little too dark. To do my nose, I go in with the EcoTools angled crease. This brush is excellent not only for like if you're doing your eyes, but also for the nose, or at least mine, because bam, instant definition. Done powder like contouring. I've never, well, I did liquid contouring once. Did not go well. I took all my makeup off and I cried. So that lets you know how that went. I'm going to take what's a little bit left of this concealer on the stipple brush. I'm going to pat it into my eyes to conceal and prime the lids. I have eye like primer, but I'm just going to use the leftover concealer that is remaining on this brush because I'm not doing like anything super crazy today with my eyes. I'm just doing a simple defined look and I'm going from there. And then I am going to take this crease brush and I'm just going to do 2 birds, 1 stone. Going in the sides a little bit, I bronze up here just to make the face look a little thinner. Camera's shaking, that's how you can tell it's attached to my bed. And then a little bit on the forehead because the forehead is ginormous when the hair is pushed back, but thankfully my hair will be down today and it's wavy crazy glory. We're just gonna have a tiny bit of brush. I'm gonna praise EcoTools again because this blush brush is amazing, super fluffy. I got this with the Glow Girl set. And I'm just gonna go in with like some blush from Ulta. It's nothing really fancy, but this color looks best on me. Most of my stuff is from Ulta. Even brush-wise, my brushes are mainly EcoTools, Ulta. I have a couple of Real Techniques brushes. I'm going to go in with the EcoTools Air Fluffy Full Powder Brush. And I'm just going to dip into my banana powder. And I'm going to go ham, starting with the ears, down the neck. And this really sets everything really well. Naturally, I can't really use powder, like, I guess you could say like foundation powder, because I never can find one that matches just as perfectly with my foundation, or at least with this foundation as well. Because when I tried to use my mineral powder for my foundation with the Fenty, it either made it too dark or it made it way too light. And now just to kind of like get any excess powder off, I go over it with the airbrush foundation. I haven't tried this with like liquid foundation. I think that's what it's originally meant for. I usually use this for powders as well because this does a good job, especially at like natural days where I just lightly need a little bit of powder. But it's also a good excess powder brush, like when I think I have way too much, or like to take off my setting powder. It really helps wisp it away without taking off all the foundation because of the way it's stippled. So now for the brows. So I always start my brows by doing, you know, a usual spool brush. My brows are pretty naturally shaped already, but I do like to define them a little bit. So up close and personal, here we go. The way I get my brows like this is, believe it or not, I cut them. I let them grow out and then I cut them into the shape I want. That way I'm not constantly tweezing. So when I'm older, I may actually have like some brows. I use e.l.f.'s brow gel pomade and powder. I don't use the powder because the powder is like way too light. So we're gonna go there and there and there and there. I normally just follow the natural shape of my brows, and this kind of helps fill in where the hairs are not. I hope these end up okay because I do have to go out in public. Then I take my spool brush and I go up and over to kind of blend that out, and then I go up, and then in the end where I use the pomade to mainly like help with the shape, I just go over it like that. Now I am going to go in with a blending brush. This is a Real Techniques one. It's one of the few that I have. And just for some definition, I'm going to go in with a Jaclyn Hill palette. I'm going to be using the shade Silk Cream. I absolutely love this shade for a little bit of definition in my eyes. And then for a little bit of highlighting, I'm going to use my Luxie 239 Precision Shader Brush that I got in my Ipsy bag this month. And I'm going to go in with a new palette I got for Christmas from a friend of mine. It's the Perfect Filter NYX Professionals. And I'm going to go in with the shade right here on my brow bone, just to highlight that a little bit and kind of blend on down. This is like a really light kind of, and so I'm also going to pack it in right there on my lid just to brighten up my eyes a little bit. It's slightly shimmery. It's like very lightly, nothing like huge. All right. And then to set everything, I'm going to go within my NYX Finish Matte. And then I also have this. I use a little bit of both. I use that to kind of set it, and then I use this on top to get a light dewy finish. And I'm weird, it's like I go in with my beauty blender while it dries and I help pat it into my skin. If I do a full face, like with highlighter and everything, not something so natural like today, I normally don't do this. I just kind of, I get a fan out and I let it do its thing. And then go about my day. Now for lip color. I'm a 241. It's also known as Sunset by Ulta. Originally that was the name before they went to these numbers. It's like a deep burnt rose. But to line my lips, I'm going to go in with a different lipstick just to make them stay longer. I'm going to go in with Celebrity Skin. And so I'm going to go in with this. This one kind of got destroyed when it fell out of my purse one time. So I'm going to use just a standard lip brush. This is actually a lip brush from my theater kit. I have so many of them, and I use them in my normal makeup routine. And for mascara, to top it all off, I'm using Else Lash Extending Mascara. This mascara really makes my lashes super long. I absolutely love it. And I don't think I'll ever pay like over $8 for mascara again. Alright guys, and this is the final natural look. It wasn't too bad for it being only done with my phone, so hopefully you enjoyed this and got a kick out of it. And now you know a backup plan if you ever don't have a mirror. So have a good day, guys.